Hey y'all, welcome to the video today. Thought I'd take the time to kind of show you what goes on with the daily inside of a stump grinding business. I got my wonderful wife here helping me with a video camera. She's kind of new to it, so it's a little bit shaky. Took it with the GoPro. It does have some image stabilization, but when you speed it up like this, it does tend to make the camera a little shaky. First we pull the stump grinder out, get that loaded up. Then next we get the mini skid loaded up. This is my normal combo for everyday kind of stump grinding. Alright, so I already kind of walked around and looked at everything. Here's the actual stump. I see what she's talking about. So the homeowner said the fence got pushed from the tree people, I'm guessing. Judging by the trees, the stump's over here and the dent's over here. So I'm assuming the tree leaned against it and did that. So, yeah, I already talked with the neighbor over here is the one that's paying for it. So I already talked to him, get as close as I can to the fence, normally within about an inch or two. This one's gonna be a little difficult now that I'm looking at it because the actual chain link is way over there, which is a quarter of the way through the stump. So we'll have to see how that goes. But what he wanted was from the chain link back out here was this root area here grinded because it's already busted, supposedly this concrete here. There was another slab that came out to here and this root already busted it up. So homeowner wants this grinded, and we've got paint everywhere in this yard. This is what happens when you're in town. Internet line coming in. Don't really have anything to touch back here. And this is where the yellow kicks in. So something in this area, I got to call him. I know there was the bush there, that stump there, and I'm assuming the two trees that are still up is what we're not touching. And he said the other stuff that was in here, go ahead. But yeah, this one right here, there's the stump, there's the yellow line, there's the orange line. So this will literally be a drop the head down and don't really wiggle it too much. That should be fairly quick. And then the front part, this was a crepe myrtle that has already been grinded once, and as you can see, it's coming back. Talked with the homeowner, the septic line runs right here, so not far off, and there's rocks, but we're gonna grind this whole area. I already talked to him. He wants to remove this dirt, not by me. He's gonna take care of it, but remove this dirt here is the only way to really get rid of these things. All right, so I can go ahead and start by saying I'm still getting a little bit more comfortable walking around with the camera in people's yards. You'll hear me talk about it in other videos I've done in the past. I don't mind filming at my own house because it's me and my stuff, but I don't really like filming at other people's places, especially if it's going to put them in front of the camera. Like I talked about earlier in the actual video, this is a crepe myrtle. The myrtle species are very invasive in our area. People use them to decorate, but they are extremely invasive, meaning they grow back really quick. I get called for regrinds all the time, and even some of my grinds have needed regrinding too because they are not completely removed. I grind them up, I grind the entire area up. The problem is that the homeowner has to remove the dirt and anything that is left of that tree in the ground to prevent it from growing back, and they don't do it, therefore it grows back. So this was a regrind that I did. This was another tree company that came in and originally took out the tree and grinded the stump for him, but it needed to be reground. He didn't like it, and that kind of led into these other projects, and mainly the tree that was on the fence. When I priced the job, the tree had not been cut, and the main reason for calling me was because of the myrtle in the front yard, which led into getting the tree in the back cut so I could grind that stump while I was there. Let's talk about these roots I'm grinding here in between the trees. So this is added on later. This was not part of the original plan, and I'd like to go over, you know, kind of how I price these what I call add-on projects. So originally, like I said, I was there for the crepe myrtle in the front, and then he added on that tree on the fence. Once I gave him the price on those two, he remembered that he had the roots there on the far back corner of the property that he wanted to get taken care of. Normally, if I'm just there to grind roots, I charge more for roots than I do, especially for stumps these size, just because it's such a pain in the butt to have to maneuver the stump grinder in and out of the trees into some unfavorable areas, and normally up against something because the roots are always lifting foundations or busting concrete like you saw there in the video. But I gave him a bit of a discount since I was already there. I didn't have any fuel cost, and
He already had another stump grinder. The only reason he called me was because he saw my number and he had lost the number to the original stump grinder. So I didn't want to overprice and lose the job over a couple roots, so I gave him a good deal on it. Of course, while I was grinding, the neighbor came out and played the helpless old lady card and needed somebody to pick up her wooden fence that had fallen down by the wind. She took no initiative to nail the fence back in. It just sits there, and I'm sure every wind that comes by blows it down. But she saw the opportunity, she took it, and as usual, we're going to be the nice guy. We're going to pick it up for her and set it right back exactly where it was so it can fall down again. This is the section of roots that we talked about earlier in the video that had busted up the concrete. You see that concrete slab there under the shed. There was another foot of the section that came out. The roots had busted it up, and the homeowner removed it in chunks. And this was the main reason that the homeowner wanted that tree removed anyway. The roots were now starting to bust up the rest of the concrete, and the homeowner decided he had enough. It was time to get rid of it. While you're sitting here watching me back drag the grind area, I'll tell you it's one of my biggest tips I can give you when you're grinding roots. When you're grinding roots, you're only going down about 3, maybe 4 inches at most, and if you're trying to keep a uniform digging depth instead of one side being deeper than the other, the best thing you can do is to backfill and drag where you've already been. That way you're still sitting on level ground. Some people don't backfill, and then you end up with one side of the machine on top of the heel that was left in the center of the tracks, and that gives you that uneven digging depth. And always remember to rake it out nice and pretty, because no matter how good of a job or how bad of a job you did, the only thing they're going to remember is how you left it looking. Thanks for watching.